Hello, good morning guys. Today we'll be doing another top-down analysis. Today is the 30th of October 2025. Today is Thursday. So we'll be doing this analysis starting from the 1 hour time frame on gbpusd. So let's get straight to the charts. So first things first, we mark out the trend. We are in a bearish trend, right? So on the higher time frame, this is on the 4 hours time frame, we have had a new bearish break of structure. The last lower high that made this new lower low yesterday. So we are in a bearish market. This lower high that made this lower low is our main push, and that's where we should be focusing on. And if you look left, you see we have equal lows down here, and all these equal lows are also liquidity point, right? So this was not a demand zone. I've been saying it right from time. This was not a demand zone. This is actually a lower low because we actually came to mitigate a higher time frame supply zones there. So we have liquidity to the downside, but currently the trend is still bearish. Now let's mark out our main push, right? We have this last lower high that struck liquidity that led to this lower low, breaking the structure. So our main push will start from here, this last lower high that made this lower low. So now let's go to the lower time frame and let's focus on this main push right here, from here to here, right? So this is our main push. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame and let's read the structure there. Now, first things first, we need to mark out our relevant point of interest, which is the supply zones, right? So we have a supply zone here, this inducement that led to the bearish push because it swept liquidity of this supply zone here. So we mark it out as the extreme, and we also have the decisional supply right here, the second lower high that made the lower low. So this is our supply zone, and the other supply zones are just weak because they didn't lead to the break of structure. But right now we can read this substructure, which is this lower low, internal lower high, internal lower low, internal lower high, like this, and a new internal lower low, another lower high, and a new lower low, right? So this is our bearish main push for now. Now currently this lower high, this supply that we are, is not the one that led to the break of structure, right? As you can see, the supply that led to the break of structure is up here, or this one here. So this one right here that we are currently in is post BOS, right? It didn't lead to the break of structure, but it's where we are currently in this session, because this is just 1 hour away from our London Open, and we are in this point of interest right now. We are in this supply zone right now. So currently what we can see is when we made the lower low last night, we actually grabbed liquidity inducements, enough liquidity that led to the new lower low. We start to have this internal bullish structure forming back into supply before we look for a new lower low to take out the higher time frame liquidity that we talked about. So at some point we'll be looking for that sell, but currently right now we are bullish, and we need to build daily cycles around this to see, are we going to sweep this high, are we going to continue bullish to go to the extreme supplies or the valid point of interest before going lower, or this supply zone is enough for us to go lower, or we could just continue bullish for now. We look for buys to take out this supply because it's not the most valid point of interest. We can look for buys. We need to know how to look for that. We don't just say price is bearish and we continue looking for sales. So what's going to frame that for us is going to be the daily cycles, right? So first of all, I mark the whole zone as the supply because the only balance we have is from here, and this is the last supply here that led to the push, that led to the break of structure that we are just mitigating on. The problem is we are mitigating this supply during the Asian session, which is not what we like to see. So let's go down to the 1 minute time frame and let me show you how we can use 1 minute time frame to analyze these daily cycles. So first of all, what's there to notice is once we made that lower low yesterday, we started internal structure. We started making internal higher high, internal higher low, internal higher high, and so on, internal higher low, internal higher high. And if you can see correctly, we are making build up of liquidity, build up of this small trend line, an inducement, that led to what? Bullish push. We have what again? We have another build up of liquidity right here. We have another inducement that led to another bullish push out. And what do we see? We had price sweep liquidity around here, give a mitigation, push down, but we didn't break the lows. We respected demand again that led to a new higher high during this session. So as you can see, we are reading what now? We are seeing that the buyers are in control because they are sweeping liquidity and follow through. You can see we have another build up. We have smart money trap here. Sellers who are thinking we have come into that supply zone. But if you mark the supply to the imbalance, they could be seeing that we are coming into the supply zone, giving an equal high sweep, a mitigation, a bearish push. People are still looking to sell here, but the buyers to control, and we continue bullish. So following the internal structure now, we can see that we are still bullish. But right now, using the liquidity cycle, I can see that we have all this trend line forming. As we are doing that bullish move, we also are creating some kind of trend line. So when price induced, or see time-based manipulation of the sellers, we can look for sales to take out all those zones. But if we don't see that, we know that price is not ready to sell yet. So the reasonable roadmap or daily cycle that I can see right now, we could expect is, let me take out some of these drawings. The reasonable expectation, we have this sweep right here. We have a potential supply zone right now. I think my drawing is just too much. So we have this supply zone here. So having this sweep of liquidity, I'm not going to sell because it's not in my key time window. So I'm not going to sell it. So we have this sweep, we have the break of structure. In fact, I can call this a potential smart money trap or a retail zone. The reason I'll call it a retail zone is because it's not in my key time window, and this could most likely be the early sellers trap, that we could trap sellers to think it that we have come into supply zone, but it's during the Asian session. But what will price do? Price will give them a bit of reaction, and once we sweep them out, so once we sweep their liquidity and we come deeper into this supply zone, then we can look for that sale. We know that early sellers has already been taken out, and we continue that sale until we make a new lower low, going on to make a new lower low. So that's just one roadmap. The other roadmap is, once we have this inducement, boom, right now price could just mitigate it and just continue bearish. That's out of our control, but that's not our strategy, so we are not going to look it like that. Or the other roadmap that I could expect or I could see is, we had, right now we can say that if price continues bearish, right? If price continues bearish from this supply zone, and during our London Open, I want to see price take out this demand zones right here, knowing that the sellers are now in control. We take out this demand, and maybe once we come back to this second demand zone here, this last inducement, and this is aligning with our time window, which is London Open, and we are seeing prices manipulating equal lows here, and we can see price come into this demand zone and give, we want to see a sweep showing that the buyers are in control, the buyers to control from the sellers, and we can take a buy to continue to take out this Asian high, or maybe after we take out that zone we continue the sell, or maybe we continue the buy to take out this supply zone as we explained on the higher time frame, because this is not the most valid supply zones to sell from, right? Well, currently we know we are still bearish, so we need to know how to negate which of the roadmap is going to play out. So I can't say price could not just continue bearish right now. It's good because we already mitigate supply, we swept liquidity. Anything can happen on the market, but following our daily cycles and roadmap, we are supposed to know what could happen based on the daily cycles, which I just explained. The reason why I mark this out as a valid supply, despite it being Asian low, that's because if we don't have a proper sweep, which is a trap, which is a sweep. Let's say, for example, we have the sweep right here. We take out this zone here, and once we have the sweep, we continue bearish, right? These zones here are going to be smart money traps. So whatever reaction I see from all these demand zone, either a bullish internal structure, either a sweep, they are all going to be traps because they are for the inducement of the day, and price will continue bearish, right? So this will be a trap. But for now, if we haven't found the inducement of the day, which is we haven't have a proper sweep, then once price comes to this zone, we can continue the internal bullish structure to the upside, which is equal low sweep into a demand zone and bullish continuation. So we'll continue away until we find the inducement of the day, which is maybe we sweep these highs, then we can look for the sales, right? Or maybe price will take out the whole zone before we look for that sell. So we don't know what exactly is going to happen. We don't know the roadmap that is going to play. But once we see our valid roadmaps, we'll follow. Once we see price not doing any of our roadmap and it's just going its way, they will just leave the market to do whatever it wants, right? So I could also be seeing this as a trend line now. More sellers are getting it right now because we are in a supply zone. We are we are in a supply zone. We are giving bearish reaction. We are giving bearish candle. So a lot of people are going to be looking to sell this right now, but I'm not going to sell because of what I just explained. So with that being said, that will be all for now, and we'll see what price does. But if you are watching this video right now and price has not done this, then you know how to navigate this market right now to avoid being trapped as the early sellers would be. So thanks for watching. That will be all.